Did you know that Henry VII and Henry VIII had a black trumpeter in their royal court? John Blanke was of African descent, although it's not clear which modern-day African country he came from, but it's most likely he came from an area located south of the Sahara. Here we only see a picture of him drawn with dark brown skin. He came to England possibly as one of the African attendants of Catherine of Aragon, who went to marry Prince Arthur, the older brother of Henry VIII. Some researchers say he was born somewhere in Africa, most likely, whilst others say he was either born in Spain or Portugal. He was one of the highest paid labourers in England, especially after he petitioned Henry VIII to raise his wage from 8 pence to 16 pence a day, which was a lot of money back then. There's not much recorded about his early or personal life, and it's unknown when he was born and when he died. He worked for the House of Tudor, possibly from 1501 to 1511. It's not known whether he moved somewhere else or whether he died afterwards. As mentioned before, it's not clear which modern-day African country he came from and whether he was born there or in Spain or Portugal. What we do know is that he is the only black trumpeter with an identifiable image, and he came to England, possibly in 1501, as part of Catherine of Aragon's entourage for when she came to marry Prince Arthur. Since Catherine of Aragon came from Spain, then it is possible that he also had a career in Spain, except his presence in the country hasn't been recorded. John Blanke was not the first black musician in a European royal court, was not the only one in his time, nor the last. In the 12th century, the Holy Roman Emperor Henry VIII had black trumpeters in his entourage, and in the 16th century, James IV of Scotland employed a drummer who was a Muslim Moor. Back in the early modern period, that is about from 1450 to 750, the term Moor was frequently used to describe a Muslim person from North Africa. However, in England, the word was also used to describe a black person or a very dark-skinned person. A surviving document from the accounts of the treasurer of the chamber records a payment of 20 shillings to John Blanke, the black trumpeter, for wages in December 1507. This is followed by monthly wages of the same amount for the next year. In old money, 20 shillings was a pound, meaning his annual wage was £12. In today's money, this is about £665 a month, or £7,980 a year, which was a lot of money back in the Tudor period, and Blanke was one of the highest paid labourers back then. He was paid 8 pence a day. After the death of a more senior trumpeter named Dominic Justinian, Blanke petitioned Henry VIII for his colleague's position, as he felt like he couldn't be paid 8 pence a day forever. His petition was recorded and can be found in the National Archives. It reads, "It may therefore please your highness, in consideration of the true and faithful service which your servant daily doeth unto your grace, and so during his life intendeth to do, to give and grant unto him the same room of trumpet which Dominic deceased late had, to have and enjoy the said room to your said servant from the 1st day of December last past during your most gracious pleasure, with the wage of 16 pence by the day." He was successful, and Henry VIII increased his wages to 16 pence a day, as Blanke intended to serve him for the rest of his life. On April 21st, 1509, King Henry VII died, and his son Henry VIII became the new king. Blanke would have been provided with new scarlet livery for the coronation. Festivities began on June 22nd, 1509, with a stay in the Tower of London. The next day there was a procession from the Tower to Westminster Great Hall. Blanke would have taken part in this. June 25th, 1509 was the coronation, which was followed by a banquet and jousting tournament. Describing the coronation tournament, chronicler Edward Hall wrote, "The trumpets blew to the feld, the fresh young galantes and noble men gorgeously apparelled." On February 1511, King Henry VIII hosted a jousting tournament in Westminster to celebrate the birth of his first short-lived son, also called Henry. Trumpeters, including John Blanke, and drummers provided music for this event. John is pictured twice here. John and his fellow trumpeters are shown on horseback as well as playing their instruments. This meant that Blanke would also have been a horseman. In the picture, each trumpet is decorated with a banner, probably made from painted silk, with the king's arms on it. Blanke is shown wearing silver and gilt livery, which was a change from the traditional Tudor green and white or scarlet and gold. In both depictions, he's seen wearing a turban, which may suggest he was Muslim. However, Henry VIII liked to dress himself and members of the court fashion styles from around the world, so it is possible that the turban was for aesthetic reasons rather than religious. In April 1512, Blanke got married at Greenwich. Henry VIII gave him a new wedding outfit, which was a velvet gown and hat. It's unknown who Blanke got married with, but it was most likely with an English woman. Since England was Roman Catholic, John and his bride would also have to be Catholic, and John would have needed to convert to Christianity if he wasn't one already. There is no record of his existence after the wedding, and the royal list of trumpeters in 1514 doesn't mention his name. Some historians suggested he died in battle, fighting in Scotland or France. Some have suggested he found work in another royal court that paid more, and others suggest he moved abroad after he got married. In the entourage that brought him to England, there was a black woman named Catalina of Motril who came from Spain. She moved abroad after she got married, so this option was possible for Blanke. Blanke remains the only black person in Tudor England with an identifiable image recorded. It shows the contribution that black people have made in English and British history. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.